Shalom Aleichem, we're going to continue with something we left off a long time ago, which is the Igelet Ramban, the letter of the Ramban, day 8. We're splitting it up in 30 days. It says, כי תיתן ללבך תמיד, מאין באת ולאן אתה הולך, ושאתה לימדת תולעה בחייך ואף כמותך. A person, so one of the main things of the letter of the Ramban to his son was humility. He says in person, to maintain humility, humbleness, is to constantly remember where you came from, where you're going to, and that at the end of the day, you're a worm in your life, even when you pass away. He says over here, this is based on a Mishnah in Avot, which this Mishnah offers this type of a perspective in order to deter a person from sinning. As it says, Akavi ben Ma'alal Omer, consider 3 things and you will not fall into sin. Know from where you come, from where you're going, and to whom you are destined to be judged and called unto account. You came from nothing, from a seed, and you're going to the grave, which are going to be food for the worms, and you're going to eventually give account in the heavenly courts for everything you did in this world. The Mesilat Yesharim explains that all of the above thoughts counteract a person's pride and promote humility. Meaning to say, in Torah, there are 2 opposite midot. There's one called Ga'ava, which is arrogance. There's one called Anava, which is humility. They're 2 opposites. Arrogance is the source of all evil. Arrogance could destroy everything in a person's life, all of a person's relationships. A person's life in of itself, for an arrogant person, it could be he's suffering in his arrogance all day, himself, on his own. Humility, on the other hand, is the source of all the good midot, Chazal tell us. Humility is the biggest blessing. When a person ponders his earthly nature and lowly beginnings, he sees little reason to feel proud. It says, for example, imagine a person was a shepherd, or a person was a nobody, and one day he becomes a somebody very big. So how does he keep humble? He remembers his beginnings. It keeps him humble, or keeps him calm. People get arrogant, they get too carried away, and they live in their own little arrogant bubble, and they don't really, not in tune to their surroundings, and they're not in tune to people, and they're not mindful to a lot of things that they should be mindful to. Arrogance basically removes a person from life altogether. The source of humility is mentioned also in Pirkei Avot, in the 4th parak, in the 4th Mishnah. It says, be exceedingly humble, for the anticipated end of mortal man is the worm. So the truth is, it's very hard for people to be humble. It's hard to maintain humility for a lot of the people. Arrogance is a natural feeling that enters a person's heart or a person's mind throughout life. But Chazal are telling us here certain ways that we could subdue our arrogance. When a person is humble, the quality of life of the individual is completely different. Their relationships are different, their understanding in life is different, their own self of growth is different, their perspective on things is different, their feelings are different. Humble people are very different in nature, and they see things differently, and they live different lives than arrogant people do. Living a humble life is a tremendous blessing, and therefore the Torah always warns us that we have to work on our humility, because life many times can take us to be arrogant. If you think about it, there's really nothing to be arrogant about. Everything you have was predetermined. If a person has wisdom, that wisdom was predetermined from Shemayim. If a person has wealth, that wealth was predetermined from Shemayim. If a person has a certain success, that also was predetermined from Shemayim. Just like a bird that could fly can't have any arrogance over a turtle, because the turtle can fly, is because the turtle was created like that and the bird was created like that. So what is the bird having arrogance over? This is what Hashem gave him. This is what Hashem created him with. And therefore, if a person really thinks about it, there's really nothing to be arrogant about, because at the end of the day, you have exactly what you're supposed to have, and everybody else has exactly what they're supposed to have. And if Hashem wants, He can take anything away from you or give you anything He wants, whenever He wants, however He wants. So we're all put in the hands of Hashem's mercy, and it's really up to Hashem what we have and we don't have and everything else in life. And therefore, humbleness is something that should naturally come to a person when a person thinks about it. But it's hard, and people have to work on it. So Chazal Chachamim gave us different advice of how we could subdue our arrogance when people are starting to feel arrogant. It says that there was a Rothschild family that were very wealthy, and once a week he would just disappear in an afternoon, and nobody ever knew where he went. So somebody followed him and saw it. Then he would go to a cemetery, he'd take off his fancy clothing, he would go into a like a graveyard, and he would lay there, and he would remind himself of this mission of Pirkei Avot in order for him to remove his arrogance and to stay humble. You know, when you go to a cemetery, when you visit somebody that's there or whatever it might be, it reminds you of life, and you start to feel and think and see things a little differently. So take that humility, take that understanding, and take that clarity and develop it and live with it. That's really what we want. We want a person to be humble. Arrogance disconnects a person from the moment. It's just the reality of arrogance. The Gemara says that a person should try to fight his Yetzer Hara. If you win, that's good. If not, should learn Torah, because Torah has the koach to subdue a person's Yetzer Hara. So if it worked, it worked. If he still feels like the Yetzer Hara is still bothering him about something, he says Shema. If he said Shema and it works, good. If it didn't work, then he should remember the day of death, envisioning the day of death as extreme as it sounds, but that's the reality. The vision that a person knows that one day he will die, right, in of itself will calm a person down and remove a person's Yetzer Hara as well. The Gemara says there was an individual who gave a gold coin to a beggar on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and it was very difficult for them because they didn't have so much money. And when he came home on Rosh Hashanah night, his wife got into an argument with him why he gave something so expensive to a poor person who they themselves are not so well off. And he realized he started to become angry. And as we know, getting angry on Rosh Hashanah is not a good siman. It's not a good thing. We don't want to get angry on Rosh Hashanah. It's a bad omen for the whole year. And sometimes you tell somebody don't get angry, it's a bad omen, though he gets angry at the fact that he's angry, right? So you have to work on it, right? To work on it. So what did he do? He wanted to subdue his anger. He ran out of the house and he went to sit and lay down in a cemetery. Said it'll sort of subdue all of that arrogance and anger, because anger comes from arrogance, right? Well, a person that gets angry, it's a clear indication the person is an arrogant person. Humble people don't get angry. Even if they do, it's very far-fetched stuff. People that are arrogant usually get angry very quickly. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, some people think arrogance and humility means that I'm humble, I'm a nothing, I'm a nobody. That's not what humility is. Humility is you can know you're in everything, you can know all your greatnesses, and you can know all your pluses, right? But humility knows that it's nothing for me to take pride in, because everything I have is just a genuine gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu could take and give anything whenever he wants, however he wants. And since everything that I have or I am is a direct gift from Hashem to me, so there's really nothing to be arrogant about. So a person can know that he's very smart or wealthy or successful or whatever else it might be, that a person might bring a person to arrogance. If a person feels like it's me, they don't come to arrogance. If a person realizes that it's all from Hashem, it'll keep a person humble. But a person that thinks to himself, I'm a nothing, I'm a nobody, who me, that's not humility. That's a low self-esteem. That's not, if anything, that's kifui tova. He's ungrateful. Right? He's ungrateful to Hashem when you're not acknowledging all the blessings that Hashem gave you and saying that you're nothing and a nobody, you don't have anything, and so on and so forth. To try to make yourself sound humble, that's being ungrateful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's not considered humble. Right? So this person, why did he go? Because he wanted to remove his arrogance. The general why? Because he realized that his anger represents a shortcoming in his character, because a generally humble person accepts life's unpleasantness with serenity. Life hits you with something unpleasant, okay, you deal with it. You don't have to start, Some people feel like it shouldn't have happened to me. This, I know, they get very defensive. So that ego creates a very difficult time to deal with. So therefore, the chassid went to the grave because he wanted to remove that anger as soon as possible. As soon as he went to the grave, he was so overwhelmed that it sort of subdued his pride very quickly, and it reminded him eventually of where he's going to go to, and it removed all that anger and all that pride. He was able to come home a much calmer person. So, if this works for you, then it should work for you. But at the end of the day, a person should try to do whatever he can not to come to arrogance. Have a good night.